I'm Phil Spencer, and welcome back to Bonkers for Boro. Now, the international break is over. Middlesbrough are back in action this weekend, which is all good, but there's not very good news with regards to one man in particular. Of course, we're talking about Aidan Morris here, the man who's been away on international duty with the United States. Michael Carrick has given an update on his fitness, and we'll get onto that in just a little bit because it's not all very good news going into this weekend's fixture. Now, for Middlesbrough, going into the match at the Kassam Stadium, generally, things are looking quite good. You're looking at the Championship table, and we're sitting just outside of the playoff positions. Victories over QPR and Luton before the international break, with all of those goals, has put Middlesbrough in a strong position in 7th, just 1 point outside the top 6. Is it where we wanted to be at this point in the season? Probably, just about, you've got to say. I think a lot of people were hoping that Middlesbrough would be firmly in the top 6, maybe even chasing down the top 2 at this point. But I think given the inconsistent results that Middlesbrough put out in the opening stages of the season, I don't think fans can be too disheartened with where we are. We're only a point behind. It's very, very tight going into those playoff places, and with so many games coming up in the next couple of weeks and next couple of months through December and January, and there's a lot of time for Middlesbrough to really hone in on those top 6 places and kind of make them our own. I think this is going to be a really crucial period in the season, and for Middlesbrough, we're in a really good position, just kind of on the shoulder of the leading pack, if you're going to be using an athletics term. So it's a strong position for Middlesbrough to be in. Not perfect at all, but certainly in a good position to really kick on, something that we'll be hoping to do after a really positive run of form. Now, obviously, this weekend we face Oxford United. Oxford aren't going to be an easy test for Middlesbrough whatsoever. They were promoted from League One last season under Des Buckingham, and coming up to the Championship, they were at risk really of kind of enduring quite a difficult time this season. The Championship's quite a strange sort of ecosystem when you think about the range in clubs. You've got the teams near the top of the Championship who've got heaps of money, that Premier League money, those parachute payments, and then you've got clubs coming up from League One, like Oxford United, who just simply can't compete with the vast majority of teams in the league. But what Oxford have done really well this season is they have turned themselves into a competitive outfit. They're currently sitting in 16th position with 17 points to their name, won 4, drawn 5, lost 6. Scored 17, conceded just 18, which actually means that they've got the 10th best defence in the Championship. So what they will try and do at the weekend is they will really try and keep things tight. They will try and frustrate Middlesbrough, and that's really how you can see the sort of game playing out. I think Middlesbrough will have a lot of the ball. Middlesbrough will be playing on the front foot, and it's going to be that old frustrating tale, possibly, of Middlesbrough trying to break down a stern and stubborn defence. Something which Oxford have done very well this season, and something which will be a big challenge as far as Michael Carrick's team are concerned. Now, going in terms of team news for this match, from what Michael Carrick said, there was generally a good feeling around the camp. There's been I don't want to say no new injuries, because there has been some new injuries, but in terms of the players who were featuring before the international break, there's been no additional setbacks in terms of them, which is a really positive thing. Obviously, there's been 2 high-profile injuries for Middlesbrough during the international break, one of which was to Hayden Hackney. Now, Michael Carrick was speaking in his pre-Oxford press conference on Thursday afternoon, and he was asked about Hayden Hackney, and he confirmed that Hackney did injure his ankle while away with England under 21s. Hackney, of course, withdrew from the squad before playing either of the 2 games for the Young Lions on international duty, which was a really concerning thing for Middlesbrough and for supporters as well. Now, at this point, Michael Carrick confirmed that it's still not confirmed. It's still not set what the actual problem is with Hackney's injury or how severe it is. He's still being assessed. It sounds like he's only recently just got back to the club after being monitored, presumably with the England setup at St George's Park. So he's still being assessed, which is not good news. Obviously, I wouldn't say it's necessarily bad news, because it's not. It's not a case of him being ruled out for a long period of time. But will he be fit for Oxford? It does seem very, very unlikely at this point. It does seem like he's going to need to be monitored, and they'll need to put together a treatment plan Hayden Hackney. But yeah, while we can't say for certain exactly what the problem is, the impression that I got from Michael Carrick was it was maybe one which wouldn't be too serious. Might keep him out maybe for a week or two before coming back, but that is just conjecture. That's not what he said. But the vibe from what he was saying about Hackney, sort of reading between the lines, is that it's not necessarily anything to be too worried about, but they will be assessing it to make a full decision on what needs to be done with his injury. Now, that was the good news, I suppose. The bad news is with regards to this man, Aidan Morris. Now, much was made on social media when the news came out of his injury that he picked up while on international duty. He jetted off to America. The USA were playing a double header against Jamaica under their new boss, Maurizio Pochettino, and Aidan Morris was part of that squad. Now, the US national team's media team, they put out a statement on their website saying that he'd, I think the wording was that he'd strained his right knee in a training session before their first match, so he was withdrawing from the squad, and that was a real concern, because obviously there's a wide range of injuries that can happen with someone's knee. Fans have been going into overdrive really during the international break as to what the problem could be and how severe it could be, because Aidan Morris has just been absolutely outstanding for Middlesbrough. Coming into this Thursday's press conference, Michael Carrick spoke about the injury. It was the first official statement that we've had from Middlesbrough with regards to Aidan Morris's injury, and he did confirm that he did twist his knee and that he's going to be set for a spell on the sidelines. The wording that Michael Carrick used was that he was likely to be out for a number of weeks, which is sort of what fans maybe expected. I think with this sort of injury, people were kind of speculating that it could be anything from 4 to 6 weeks, maybe, depending on the severity of such an injury. I think when you twist your knee, there's obviously every opportunity that you could do some damage to ligaments and that sort of thing. And I think Middlesbrough are always very cautious of making sure that they are looking after their players and making sure that they're not rushing people back from injury. So Aidan Morris, he's American. His family are in Florida and that sort of thing. So Middlesbrough have given him a little bit of extra time to stay in America, to continue being treated in the first instance by the US national team. Gives him a little bit of time to catch up with his family. And Michael Carrick confirmed that he would be coming back to Teesside on Monday. So I'm trying to work out what day that will be. I think that'll be around the 25th of November that he will be coming back to Middlesbrough. And it's then that obviously Middlesbrough's medical team would be doing their own sort of assessment on him and deciding how long he would be out for. But Michael Carrick was saying that, he would be out for a number of weeks, which is a really big blow, because in my opinion, Aidan Morris is probably the most undroppable player in Middlesbrough's team. He's really, really added something to the centre of the park. His aggression, his ability to get on the ball, his ability to play a forward pass. He really just is the all-round package, I guess, in that midfield area. And so while it remains to be seen exactly how many weeks he's going to be out for, even if it was that 4 to 6 weeks, which fans have sort of speculated about, you're looking at the fact that he could well be out into January now, which is a lot of matches for him to miss out on, which is a big blow for Middlesbrough, just given how many points will be up for grabs in those games and how desperate we will be to be in a strong playoff position going into next year. So, yeah, Aidan Morris out for a number of weeks, certainly missing the match against Oxford United. So with Hayden Hackney also likely to be missing that match as well, it does give Michael Carrick a couple of tricky decisions, I guess, to make going into that match against the newly promoted side. So this is my predicted team for that match. Excuse the dropped H on Middlesbrough there. That's the other formatting there. But this is the team that I've selected going into that match against Oxford based on what we know at the moment. So Seny Dieng in goal, no-brainer there. A back four if Neto Borges is past fit. Obviously, he wasn't playing in the other couple of. He went off during the QPR game just before the international break and then missed the match against Luton. It does sound like he's likely to be back available for the match against Oxford. So I'll be having him back at left back, which would mean that I would put Luke Ayling back to right back, which is a bit of a blow for Anthony Dijksteel, given just how well he's done. But I do think that that's probably the strongest setup of Middlesbrough's defence at the moment. Dale Fry, he featured in another. I think it was an under-21s match during the international break as he steps up his return from injury and tries to get some match minutes into his legs. I don't think he'll be ready for the match against Oxford. Rav van den Berg, I think he's likely to be out as well. So that means that in the centre of defence, it'll probably be Matt Clark and George Edmondson, who Edmondson has just been brilliant since he came in from Ipswich over the summer. Now, the midfield too, this is the area that people have been focusing on a lot due to the injuries and uncertainty around Hayden Hackney and Aidan Morris. I think based on what I've just been saying with both those players set to really miss out against Oxford, you'll be going Dan Barlaser and not Hayden Hackney and Johnny Howson. Dan Barlaser, Johnny Howson in central midfield. Both of those players, you've got to say it's not as strong as Hayden Hackney and Aidan Morris. Hackney and Morris have been one of the best duos in the Championship this season, but between Barlaser and Howson, there's a lot of experience there. There is a lot of technical quality there. They might not play with the same intensity, and it might mean that Middlesbrough are a little bit more open, maybe against Oxford, but there is certainly a lot of experience there, and I think they will do a good job. They've played together a lot since Barlaser joined the club. There's been a lot of matches played between those two and central midfield, and so I think if those two are selected for this game, I think would be looking fairly strong in that area. Moving into the attacking third, I've gone with Ben Doak on the right side of midfield. Quite simply, although there's going to be I suppose a calling from some people to manage him, and given that he's a young lad and just how much he's playing at the moment. But Ben Doak for me is absolutely undroppable at the moment. If he's fit, given just how good form he's in, his confidence will be absolutely through the roof. He has to play. Even if he only plays for 60, 70 minutes and then he's brought off, he's got to start for Middlesbrough against Oxford, because he has the potential to be a match winner on his own, given just how well he's done for Middlesbrough, but then also for Scotland in their two international matches against Croatia and Poland as well. Finn Azaz, he was absolutely outstanding before the international break, arguably Middlesbrough's best player in the 2-3 weeks maybe before the international break. He headed off to link up with the Republic of Ireland during the international break. He played in both matches, but he came on as a substitute in both of them, so it wasn't a huge amount of minutes for him. Probably quite a frustrating time for Azaz, because he was coming on and he was playing on the right side of midfield and quite a defensive Ireland side, which is absolutely not Finn Azaz's game. So he'll be chomping at the bit to be involved against Oxford. And given that he's going to be fully fit. There's going to be no injuries. Didn't play a huge amount of minutes for Ireland. He'll be more than ready to come back in and hopefully pick up where he left off. On the left side of midfield, I've gone with Delano Bergzorg. Obviously, a lot of people will be hoping that Riley McGree will be there and fit to play, but he's played a lot of minutes for Australia once again during this international break. He was playing against Bahrain on, I think it was Tuesday night, where he played around about 67, 70 minutes that he played for Australia. He's then obviously got to fly back to England. There's jet lag. It's a huge flight, and Middlesbrough do tend to be quite cautious with him when he comes back. Obviously, as I've mentioned before in this video, there's a lot of games coming up. So I think for Middlesbrough, the focus will be on the long term with him, making sure that he comes back in and he's conditioned properly so that he is ready to play when he does play. And obviously that decision is made a little bit easier by the fact that Delano Bergzorg played against Luton before the international break, and he was absolutely brilliant. He got a goal. Boy, did he love celebrating it with the fans in the south stands. So he'll be confident. He'll be wanting to take another opportunity to impress. And so I'd certainly be backing him to play against Oxford. And then up front, I've gone with Emmanuel Latte-Lath. It's a difficult decision there as well. We're in a blessed position where we've got two strikers who are both in form. Latte-Lath, he played against Luton and he was outstanding. Tommy Conway, he played a couple of games before that and been really good. Tommy Conway had also made his first senior start for Scotland against Croatia during the international break. Didn't play a single minute in the second game against Poland. He was an unused sub in that game, so he will be fresh to play this game. But this is one where Michael Carrick will have a big decision to make on which of the two he starts up front. There's obviously always the potential that he could start with both of them. It's likely that it's only going to be one of them. And for me, I'd be picking Emmanuel Latte-Lath, because I think based on what we've seen so far this season, I think when both of them are on top form, I think Latte-Lath just offers a little bit more in terms of intensity and work rate and that sort of X factor in the attacking third. So I would certainly be having him up top if he is fully fit and fully sharp and ready to play. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one against Oxford. As I mentioned, it'll be quite a tight game. Middlesbrough will be needing their attacking players to be on form to break down what will be a stubborn Oxford defence, but certainly a game that Middlesbrough will be hopeful of getting 3 points from. And yeah, hopefully they'll be able to do exactly that and get themselves off to a winning start to this winter period. So I want to hear from you, really. Obviously, the big news from this is about the injury situation to Hayden Hackney and Aidan Morris. Morris is going to be out for a number of weeks. So how big a blow is that to Middlesbrough? Drop into the comments below. Let me know what you think about the blow for Aidan Morris. And also let me know your predictions for the match against Oxford United. I think it'll be a tricky game, but yeah, one that we're certainly looking forward to, because no one really likes the international break. Everyone's just ready for club football to come back. So drop into the comments below. If you have enjoyed this video as well, please do hit like and hit subscribe, and I will catch up with you, hopefully, after a victory over Oxford. Catch you later.